And the theme of this video is building ideas on top of vocals. I know that a lot of people don't know how to start their ideas, and I thought I would, show you guys my process of building new ideas on top of vocals. You can do this if you're going to do a remix, if you're just gonna work with vocalists like I do. And yeah, let's just jump right into this one. Okay, so obviously we're building on top of a vocal. This is the vocal that I'm working with. He sent me an idea already, so this is his original idea with some pianos on top, which is really good. I just wanted to do my own thing, so I just got the vocals out of there and just did this, use his vocals and build on top of it. I guess we should start with the actual vocal mix, and this is pretty, I'm not gonna say pretty complex, but it's way more stuff than what I usually do. So we have mix box here. I'm just using the DS on the mix box by T-Rex. So I'm DSing, I'm using Fruity compressors to compress the vocals, and then going through Wolf compressor. I talked about the difference between Fruity compressor and Wolf compressor on the last video. Fruity compressor is a way more clean compression. Wolf compressor has way more character. Sometimes I use one of them, sometimes I use both of them. So I'm using both of them on the same chain. I'm using Fruity chorus on top of it and Fruity delay 3. A ton of stock plugins in here, and then on top of it, spreader, Fruity balance, and a vintage verb. This is pretty important, especially spreader, or you can use wider too. It's the same thing, because the idea is not to make a song out of this, is to make a sample out of this. So I want that vocal to act like an instrument, but not the main instrument. So that's why I'm spreading it out. I don't actually want it to be recognizable almost, I want this vocal to act like an instrument. So this is how it sounds with all of the effects and everything. I'm using the Fruity balance to do the panning effect right here, the automation. When I'm working with vocals, what I usually do is that they replace the chords on my process. So if you guys watch my videos, you know that I usually start with chord progressions. When I work with vocals, I like to go right into the bass and find the progression that I want through the bass, and then build the chords on top of that bass. So I'm using this plugin here, Diva. This is the bass preset here, and this is how it sounds on top of the vocals. Super simple. Just 2 chords. We're going 5 down, so we are on E minor, and then we repeat the chords and go 5 down. Such a simple progression that has been done many times, and I'm doing it again because it sounds so good. So on top of this synth bass here, I went into Analog Lab. I grabbed this preset here called 3430 and built the chords on top of it. These are pretty simple chords. Super simple. Again, just those 2 chords repeating themselves, but in the second repetition of this second chorus, I remove the top B note. So we have this B note hitting on these 3 chords right here, and then on the 4th one, it is not there, so it disrupts that rhythm and that expectation. One thing that I did a lot on this sample is playing with rhythm. I was really inspired by Nico Barham. I was doing a lot of those volume automations and volume deeps and mutes and whatever. So after we had this chord here, we opened up, I'm pretty sure this is Diva. Again, we used this preset here called Bronto Saw. And then I did the same stuff, but this time I'm just connecting the chords one to another. although they sound cool, they get messy really quick, right? They have like this really strong like release. There's like this really strong decay. So what I did here is that on the mixer channel for these like build-up saws, that's what I call them, I use spreader, but most importantly I use Fruity Balance. Fruity Balance is your friend when you're doing panning and volume automations. So I did this little automation here, and instead of just having this chord, and naturally this preset, this patch already had this movement like build-up sounds, I just made that stronger. And when they finally build up, we take them away. So this is how they sound together with that first patch from Analog Lab. And it was when I did this that I knew that I had something cool right here, because this movement here, it just sounds so nice, the rhythm, and it's a really cool movement. It really shows you how far you can go with just a simple volume automation, how much you can shape a patch, you can shape a sound just by automating the volume and using that automation to your advantage. This vocal on top of these chords, this is how they sound. So much rhythm just by doing one simple volume automation. On top of these two chords, I pulled up my guitar and then I laid down these simple chords here. They sound cool, they sound okay. It's not my best performance, I'm gonna say, but I think they do the job. And there's so many, there's so much processing on this one. If all these last couple of videos I was barely processing stuff and barely adding effects, I'm doing a ton of stuff on this one. So in this guitar, we're using Guitar Rig 6 with the Cosmo Chicago preset. On top of it, we have a Wolf compressor doing a little bit of compression, again with a little bit of wow, some lo-fi. I was really going into the like Sonder brand, direction with this like guitar tone. I added parametric EQ, cutting a little bit of the lows, a little bit of the highs. On top of it, Fruity Flangus, one of my favorite modulation plugins. On top of it, Fruity Balance. I don't know exactly why. I thought I would do some volume automation with this. I ended up not doing it, so it's just, I'm not using it. Then we have all of Vintage Verb. And this is really cool. Since I was already going crazy with the automations, the volume automations and everything, I did a little reverb automation right here, something that you don't see too often. So I'm automating the mix level, the dry, wet knob here. And I have the reverb, and then I take it away. Right before going to the next chord, I take that reverb away. So it's really spaced out, and then now it's on your face. We establish a space that this guitar lives in, and right before we go into the next chords, we completely disrupt that space, automating the reverb. Again, also really cool effect. I got this from Ian Kirkpatrick here on YouTube. If you just look him up.
So like one of my favorite things to do is to like in production and not in real life, one of my favorite things to do is violate space. Like basically establish like an atmosphere or establish a room and then totally violate it. Like, introduce a reverb and then cut that reverb off. You know what I mean? Like I said, I only do that in productions, not in real life. No one likes that.
That's pretty
It's not. Okay.
He does a ton of automation stuff too, and I got this idea from him. I also put some fruity balance on top of this. I'm not automating, I'm just using to pull it up for the beat. And right before we end the chain, I have another fruity balance, but this one is doing the side chain here. So this little gain automation, this is this fruity balance here. You can do the same effect with a plugin like Kickstart. Right here, it does the same thing. It just makes the process a little bit easier. Although I like to see the sidechain on the playlist, I think it gives you a cool like visual feedback of what's happening. But yeah, really simple stuff. A ton of volume automation on this one. A ton of automation in general in this project, especially compared to my other ones. But this is how the guitar sounds on top of those two chord patches that we have going on. Cool idea. And we also have the vocals on top. So at this point in the sample, I already have my bass idea. The guitar sounds good on top of the vocals, on top of the bass. I just wanted to add a couple more elements just so we bring it up to the next level, just so we bring it up to a song idea level where we have an intro, a hook, a verse. And you don't need to do a ton of stuff to do that. I'm gonna show you guys what I did on this one, but at least I like to do it. Even though I'm trying to simplify my stuff, I still find that I really enjoy the process of trying to create these little different sections that people can use in different sections of the song. So for this other section here, I just laid down two other elements. So we have this guitar top line and these chord like synth stabs that I'm calling them. So this is how they sound with our guitar chords. Really simple, such a simple idea. So let's start with the chords. I'm using Analog Lab on this one again. Let me see the preset. This is from the That's Right Bank. This is the preset called Blessed, and these are basically the same chords that we've been working this whole time. I just copied and pasted them. And again, we're doing some volume automation here with our trusty fruity balance, some parametric EQ, cutting the lows, and a Wolf compressor. Nothing more than that. No reverb, no delay. Just a simple mute with the fruity balance. It's a cool movement, you know, with the synth bass. And on top of it, I just laid down this really simple guitar top line that I actually, even though it is pretty simple, I actually really like how it sounds. Yes, there is noise, but it sounds good in my opinion. I like how it sounds. The processing for this is again Cosmo Chicago from Guitar Rig 6, Fruity Flangus. We have a Fruity Delay 3 and a Valhalla Vintage Verb. Simple stuff. It's just basically a call and response with the chords. So we have the chords calling and the guitar responding. This is such a simple idea. It's just using volume automations to create these little pockets that people can add drums, these little pockets for artists to sing on and to write. So you don't want to have this overly complicated idea. And on top of it, we have the guitar chords that we've been, you know, looping for the majority of the sample, and this is the whole thing. It looks more complicated than it is because of the automations. So the automations make the project look bigger than it actually is. But if I collapse these automations, it's just these things, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers, you know. I also, for this one, I have this hidden track here because I tried to record some vocals. The first thing that I did after I laid down the synth bass, and I had the vocals in here for the longest time, but I decided to remove them. You know, sometimes when you spend a ton of time on a certain element, you have the sunken cost fallacy that you spend so much time on it, you're just gonna have to put it on the projects anyway, either you're liking it or not. And I try to actively fight against that, because even though I spent a ton of time, I'm pretty sure this is the first arrangement for the sample, and these are just my vocals. I wrote a couple lyrics to it, and I spent I don't know how much time, like maybe like 45 minutes, something like that, recording these vocals. At the end of the day, bro, they did not sound good. They're trash. They did not sound good. So I removed them from the final sample. I just kept what I thought, you know, worked. And that's something that you need to actively, you know, like think about and fight against. So yeah, this is the entire sample. Let's have a quick like final listen to it, and yeah, we're done here. I think it's talking about the arrangement a little bit. I tried to arrange my samples in a way that I think a song could be arranged. So I don't bring all of the elements right up front in the first second if I don't feel like they will work for the song. So let me just stop real quick. I'm just bringing in the vocals 30 seconds into the sample. I don't care if whoever is listening to this doesn't listen to the vocals because it only comes up like 30 seconds in. I arrange stuff in the way that I like, and in the way that I feel like a song would be arranged. And a lot of times the arrangement of the songs, they end up just being the arrangement that I do on the samples, because when I'm doing it, and I think this is an active like part of sample making, I try to arrange it in a way, you know, that it would sound good, you know, for an actual song. So we introduce the vocals like 30 seconds in. Yeah, so I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and check out all of ideas for all of my packs and all of my sounds. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.